Dublin's fair city, where the boys are, well, some of them are pretty. I bought far too many books in Dublin, just like I bought far too many books in London. And believe me, these were a pain in the bottom to get home on the ferry. And if future me is on the ball, he will put a picture of how he got them home, or how I got them home. Sorry, multiverse shenanigans have been going on, as evidenced by the other version of me who is sleeping in the rocking chair. I said to myself after I bought like half of these, no more books, James. Don't buy any more books, please. But then I saw this, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and this is, well, look at it, it is so cool. It's got this like golden shiny Anubis on the front, and like these gold sprayed edges, and oh, it is pretty as heck. And like, there's translations as well, and you've got like all the plates, and oh, it is so cool. I just couldn't resist. This was from a place called, it's from a little sort of arts manuscript type museum called the Chester Beatty Gallery. And I just saw this and just Sue ha aramutu simmasin baya imotep mapinsetsuwe yature. No! You must not read from the book! Okay, so let's get on with this before the world ends. This is one I've already read. This is Antarctica by Claire Keegan. Short stories. One of the things on the back says they're adult versions of fairy tales, which, to put it mildly, it means they're just all depressing in their endings and a bit bleak, and I'll save this for my spring review, spoilers and stuff, but not my favourite book I've read recently, let's put it that way. So after I bought some stupidly thick books, which are coming in a moment, I said to myself, James, if you're going to buy books, buy thin ones. This was before I restricted myself to buying books completely, and failed. So I saw this short story by Samuel Beckett, which is Dante and the Lobster. This is another one I've read, because it's only short. It was allegedly inspired by James Joyce, and I can definitely see that in there. It's about a guy who buys a lobster and takes it home to cook. I did enjoy it. It's, again, I'll save it for my spring review. Speaking of James Joyce, whilst in Dublin, could not resist buying some James Joyce books. I took Ulysses with me. I've got Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man on the shelf somewhere behind me. So I bought these three. I bought Giacomo Joyce, which I mentioned this in my winter review. I read this pretty much the day I got it. It's short, pithy notes. It's enjoyable. And as I said then, you don't read Joyce for the plot, you read Joyce for the language. So I bought a collection of his poems as well, chamber music and other poems. I've read through a few of these. They're really nice, they're readable, they've got some nice imagery in there. Looking forward to reading more of those. And of course, I also bought the book that made me fall in love with James Joyce in the first place. The book that made James Joyce one of my literary inspirations, Dubliners, which again is short stories, and I'm looking forward to rereading these. I have a kind of love-hate relationship with this next author, Lewis Carroll. He seems to have haunted me my entire life, even up to the point where his father turns up in my family history. I'm not related to him, but I'm not going to go into it, but there's a story involving Lewis Carroll's dad, and let's not go into it. But I saw this, I was looking for like a poetry book. I thought, it's Dublin, isn't it? Ireland, land of poetry. Let's go and see if we can get some poetry. And I don't know why I picked this one, but I know why. It's because it's got my favourite Lewis Carroll work in there, which is The Hunting of the Snark. They're nice, happy poems. They're not mostly moody, gloomy, a little bit of nonsense, something you can dip into to brighten the day. So I took a wander around Trinity College. I visited the Book of Kells, and later that day I found I went into a bookshop, saw it was there, thought, oh, let's go and have a look in this bookshop. And that's where I bought the James Joyce books, and also this one, a history book, Trinity in War and Revolution, 1912-1923, by Thomas Irish. This is talking about the role of Trinity College in the Irish Wars of Independence, the Easter Rising of 1916, and the Dublin lockout of 1912. It's sort of putting it in the context of all those major events which led to the founding of the Irish nation. Gotta say, it's very readable. I've read loads of this already and really am enjoying this one. This is such a cool little book. I am a very big fan of this book. Back on the James Joyce theme, I went into the Literature Museum and I saw this by Colm Tobin, Mad, Bad, Dangerous to Know, The Fathers of Wilde, Yeats and Joyce. Again, it's a history book, and it's actually talking about, the fathers of Joyce, Yeats and Wilde, who, for better or worse, we are all influenced by our fathers, and this gives an overview of how those great figures were influenced, how they related to their fathers. It's adding an extra layer to their stories, and when I get round to it, I am looking forward to reading this one. The other history book I bought was A History of Ireland in 250 Episodes by Jonathan Bardon. I want to do a lot more Irish history. I want to study Irish history a lot more. It's something I don't really know about that much, so I really want to try and understand it a bit better, try and get into it a bit more. And I thought this would be really useful for little overviews, little stories, getting the events in place, getting the chronology in place. I've read, along with the Trinity in War and Revolution, the stuff about the Easter Rising in here already, and again, it's really readable, it's really fascinating, and yeah, I think this is one I'm going to be dipping in and out of for years to come, as I'm learning more about Irish history and getting to know Irish history. There's a reason I want to get into Irish history a bit more, a very good reason. Not talking about that yet, just in case it doesn't happen. I've heard a lot of good things about this book. This is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. It's a retelling of David Copperfield in the American South in the Appalachian Mountains of Virginia. I've heard very good things about this, and I saw this and thought, it's a thick book. I haven't bought that many books whilst I'm here, and to be fair, I hadn't at the time. Yeah, let's go for this. We can. Should I wait till the cathedral bells stop? Okay. So yeah, I've heard good things about this. It's supposed to be really good. It won the Women's Prize for Fiction last year. It's basically a modern retelling adaptation of David Copperfield. Wonder if it will contain the annoying romance chapters in the middle. We shall see. Next one I bought was one that's been on my reading list for a while. This is a Japanese book, I believe. It's called Days at the Morisaki Bookshop by Satoshi Yagisawa, translated by Eric Ozawa. It's about a person that lives in a bookshop. This is one I might read really soon, actually, but at the moment I'm kind of on like Earthsea, and I've got like a lot of other books to read first, so I really want to read it, but it's like not at the top of my pile at the minute. And then we have one I nearly bought in London at Gaze the Word, but kind of thought, nah, I'll go for this interesting looking horror book instead. It looks like a nice book about gay werewolves. How bad could it be? Oh, but wait a second, it's erotica. This is Swimming in the Dark by Thomas Jodorowsky. About Poland in the 1980s, a gay couple. Love a bit of gay reading. Can you tell? Yeah, it's again another one I'm looking forward to, but it's not at the top of my reading pile. Over the last year or so, I've really sort of started enjoying the films of Jean Cocteau, a French film director. He did the original version of the original film version of Beauty and the Beast, which is, oh, it's so gorgeous. It's so good, and for me personally, it runs rings around the Disney version. And recently, I also watched Orpheus as well, which again, visually spectacular. A film that leaves you thinking. So when I saw this, Les Enfants Terribles, I thought, let's go for that. Yes, I've got far too many books now, but hoo-hoo, Jean Cocteau? Oui, oui, monsieur, oui, oui. That is actually, I'm speaking about what I've got to read, but that is like very close to the top of my reading pile. It was going to be next, but then I thought, no, let's go with Earthsea instead, read a bit of fantasy, science fiction. Just a warning though, regarding these, it might be a while because, well, you know June's out at the minute, and I keep thinking, well, should I actually read June? Should I go and buy myself a copy of June by Frank Herbert? With a, let's buy a tie-in version with Timothée Chalamet on the cover and annoy all the booktube community because they hate tie-in covers, even though you love them, James, because you are a film nerd. I also bought the script book for the Grand Budapest Hotel, but thanks to the switch up behind me. No idea where it is right now, but I got that from the Irish Film Institute. They've got a little shop there. I went in looking for books on films made in Ireland, on Irish film. Again, looking for more Irish history, more to do with my specialism, which is film, by the way. Don't know if I've mentioned that, but it's around here somewhere. I don't know where it is right now. But yeah, I bought the script book for the Grand Budapest Hotel as well, because I'm a film nerd. Okay, found it. Turns out I put it behind my second screen. So there we go, Grand Budapest Hotel is just the script book, but it comes with like pictures inside, like little film stills. And this is going to be an interesting read because I really do like the film, so it'd be nice to like read the script as well. See how different it is, see how things change. They do that sometimes, and sometimes they don't include bits that are like in the film. Sometimes they just say, speaks in ancient Egyptian, and you have to go to the film clip and copy basically a random version of what you hear and say it as best you can. I'm not waking up Imhotep again. Once is enough. Once is enough.